It's the next level.
Hmm? Ah!
You gave him the guns.
No. I hid them.
That's right, Jack. He's as stupid as you are. You were so busy worrying about each other, you never even saw me coming, did you? So how about you listen up? 'Cause I'm only gonna say this once. You took my stuff. While I was off trying to get us help, get us rescued, you found my stash and you took it. Divvied it up. My shaving cream, my batteries, even my beer. And then something else happened. And you decided these two boys here were gonna tell you what to do and when to do it. Well, I'm done taking orders. And I don't want my stuff back. The shaving cream don't matter. Batteries don't matter. Only thing that matters now are guns. And if you want one, you're gonna have to come to me to get it. There's a new sheriff in town, boys. Y'all best get used to it.
Welcome, everyone, into another episode of We Have to Go Back, Lost Revisited from the Next Level Podcast Network. I am Ben Beck.
And from Podcastica, I'm Kristen Howell. We are covering Season 2, Episode 13, The Long Con, this week of our series rewatch.
Yeah, and we're finally... It's funny that we had a couple people, a couple listeners, like, message and stuff saying that they were also not fans of last week's episode. That they were happy to hear that we were in the same boat, that it was not one of our favorite episodes.
Yeah, well, the episode was stupid. It's okay not to like an episode of television.
Yeah, I mean, especially when you have a season that's like 22, 24 episodes, you're not going to have... Not every episode is going to be a masterpiece. And
they can't all be winners.
Yes, and last week was a good example of that. But I think we're on an uptick this week with the Long Con for sure. So,
yeah. It was better.
It was definitely better. Before we get into that, just a couple notes. Obviously, this is a spoiler-full podcast, so expect to hear spoilers from both the past and the future of the series at this point.
And the sideways.
And, that's right. And that's a good one. I did not think to say that.
Thank you.
No problem. I wanted to talk real quick, too. I just wanted to mention the poll that's on the Facebook page, facebook.com/we have to go back. Or no, what the hell is that? It's Lost Revisit. Facebook.com/Lost Revisited.
We're doing so well today.
I know. Facebook.com/Lost Revisited. We have a poll currently up right now for the next couple days over who did you prefer, who had the better chemistry, Jack and Sawyer. Jack and Sawyer. Wow, we're on a roll. Kaiser.
Hey, man, I haven't messed up once. This recording,
exactly.
This tape.
No, who had the better chemistry, Kate and Jack or Kate and Sawyer? And right now, it's a lot closer than I thought it would be, but Kate and Sawyer are currently in the lead.
Well, to be fair, in the comments, a couple people said that they did not want to vote because they thought that Sawyer and Juliet were actually the best.
I think that's a good point. I think they were really well together. We talked a little bit about that last week. But this poll says between those two. So they can still vote. I'm not saying who had the best chemistry. The poll says who had better chemistry between those two. So, but yeah, I'm going to try and think of some new polls to put up like every week. So if you have any ideas for polls that you want to hear, let us know. And Kristen, you can do the same thing. You can let me know.
Don't worry.
I'm sure you will.
My opinion is always known.
Because you do polls. You do polls with House Podcastica a lot too.
I do. Yeah, we're doing a poll every day right now in the lead up to the season premiere. My whole brain is Game of Thrones right now, so switching over to Lost is a trip. So.
Yeah, because you were asking me questions already that I didn't know. So your brain is definitely...
Yeah, you epically failed.
I did, but that's all right. That's okay. Let's get into the breakdown of the episode where Kristen and I would just go back and forth, bringing up some points of the episode and just discussing the episode in total. So I'm going to leave it to you, as I usually do, to kick things off.
Okay, well, we're going to go and start off with Jack sucks so hard.
All right. Okay.
Jack is really, he's at the pinnacle of his douchiness in this episode. I wanted to sock him in the mouth, like every single time he was on the screen this episode. And the first time was, it's just the entitlement that he has, that he thinks he can go into someone else's tent and ransack their entire place and take what they think it belongs to him. I understand that Sawyer took the drugs. I understand that, Jack thought that was wrong, but first of all, two wrongs don't make a right. I teach that to my 5-year-old. And Jack just acts like a child. He's just like, well, we need it and you shouldn't have taken it. And
you don't have a stash anymore.
Yeah. And it's, and then at the end, when Sawyer brings up, and we'll get into this later, but at the end, Sawyer says, hey, he came back and all his stuff was gone. All of it. It had been completely taken and ransacked and divvied up. That's like gypsy status, and so I kind of understood Sawyer's point of view on this. Did I like the way he did any of it? No, but I understand why he was upset. And he's just, and then Jack is like, Locke, you're gonna give me the code to this, and you're gonna give me 2 guns right now. And he starts screaming almost violently in front of everybody, like he's lost control. He's on this weird power trip. He's mean to everybody. There is not one person that he speaks to with any sort of respect. He kind of was like that with Ana Lucia, but then like the minute he thought that maybe she would have been a part of Sun's attack, he started treating her like crap. He doesn't know how to treat anybody with respect. And at the same time, he expects all the respect to come back to him, no matter what. He's just such an unlikable character, especially in this episode. I hope he drowns.
Oh, God. Tell me how you really feel about Jack.
I really most of my notes are Jack is the worst. Jack sucks balls. Jack's a dick.
Well, I don't want to turn around and say that you're wrong in anything that you said, because you're not. He really is that kind of a person. And I want to kind of piggyback on that a little bit with a couple things. I think I can totally understand that what Jack did with ransacking Sawyer's tent and taking the drugs back was wrong. It was not the way to do it. But on the other side of that, and I have a note of this too as to why, when we find out what the actual long con was of the episode, which we'll talk about soon, when we find out, Sawyer's intentions about, everybody taking his things, and what you said about that being a gypsy mentality, like, look, this is somebody who, with all intents and purposes, was not meant to return to the island. He was on a raft to get everybody rescued. So why keep all of his things in one spot and have them be unused? I actually feel like them taking his things and divvying them up was perfectly fine. But when
he was coming back.
But he was coming back to get Everett with a rescue. Those things were never going to be his again. If he came back with rescue, there was no need for him to keep those items again, because he was because he was going to come back, get everybody picked up, and leave.
But don't you think that should have been his decision?
But I do. Okay. His decision to what?
On what happens to his stuff. If they wanted to divvy it all up, they should have asked before he left.
Well, but here's the thing though. Let me put it to you this way: if you got on a raft, if you were in Sawyer's shoes and you got in a raft, you got put on a raft to leave and get everybody rescued. If you made it to land and you got everybody rescued and you brought rescue back to the island, are you even remotely worried about what happened to your things?
If I'm Sawyer, yes.
But I mean, those things
because he's Sawyer. And keep in mind, it's been 4 days. And no emergency has happened in those 4 days.
But again, look at it from a perspective of people on the island. You're not expecting Sawyer to come back without rescue.
So you're telling me that they couldn't wait 4 days, 96 hours before divvying up shaving cream and beers and other items that belonged to him in 96 hours.
I don't think they had a reason to, because you're not expecting Sawyer to come back unless he's coming back with rescue. Nobody expected that raft to go down. And I mean, am I saying, is it unreasonable for Sawyer to have said like, hey, if I don't make it, if you don't see me in a week, go ahead and, it probably means good things. Go ahead and turn my things around. Yeah. But I don't think anybody's thinking of that at that time. Everybody at that point is like, Sawyer's leaving with Michael and Jin. They're coming back with rescue. So I
just think that that's so disrespectful. It's so disrespectful to be like, well, this guy's gone. He's not dead, but he's gone. So we'll just ransack his stuff.
Well, but
I'd be mad.
I understand being mad from Sawyer's perspective, but from everybody there on the island's perspective, it doesn't matter what it is, whether it's shaving cream, beer, pills, no matter what. Every resource you have is limited. So if you're not expecting this guy to come back because he's going to get rescue, why not divvy up those resources, because everybody else is going to need them? Why put a hold on resources that are just going to sit there for somebody who's not coming back?
Okay, so Claire was kidnapped for like a week. Should her stuff have been divvied up?
No, because she's still on the island. You're still trying.
You don't know that. She's been kidnapped. You thought? I mean, people basically gave up on her. They stopped looking for her.
There's a difference between Kate being kidnapped and knowing you still have plans to rescue
Claire.
Claire being kidnapped and still having plans to bring her back to the camp. Sawyer's situation was different because Sawyer's intentions were to not come back. There's a difference.
I don't think so. I really don't. I think that if you really think that you needed it, pack up all of his stuff, pack up Michael's stuff, pack up everybody except Jin, right? All of Jin's stuff goes to Sun because Sun will keep it safe.
With him, yeah.
But Michael and Walt's stuff and Sawyer's stuff could have at least been packed up separately and maybe put in the hatch or put with a trusted, neutral source. And then if they needed something, if there was an emergency where they absolutely needed something, then yeah, you go in and you see if they have it. But until then, that's it. If you don't need it, then why give it away? I seriously, I think that this was such a violation.
Well,
I mean,
okay.
Look,
I don't mean to cut you off, but let's look at this from Sawyer's perspective now, and especially what happened in this episode. With him having the guns by the end and hiding them. I don't think Sawyer even thought he was coming back at that point, because if he did, he would have taken his stuff and hidden it so that nobody else could have it. Not because that's the smart move. That's because that's who Sawyer is. If he did not want anybody having any of his things, he would have not have left them in his tent. He would have taken them and he would have hidden them.
I don't know. I don't know. For him to come back to nothing is just, that sucks. I'd be pissed.
I'm not saying
they should have given him his stuff back.
And that I agree with. I think if he came back, they should have given him his stuff back. Whatever wasn't used, they should have given it back.
And Jack's not going to do that because Jack has zero respect for Sawyer, especially Sawyer. So if Jack's not giving it back, then what's going to make everybody else give it back? Because attitude reflects leadership.
And I agree with that. I'm not disagreeing with you in one bit about Jack being a disrespectful asshole. I'm just saying that when it comes to giving Sawyer's things away and divvying them up, I don't find any fault in what they did. I think
I do.
if Sawyer really did not want anybody having his things, being the person that Sawyer is, he would have hidden them. He would have moved them. I don't think Sawyer had any intention of coming back. I think we're missing the bigger point, though, in that Sawyer even says himself, this isn't about my things. And Kate kind of hits the nail on the head about, you just want to be hated. I think
It's easier.
Yeah, I think the whole, arguing about taking his things, that was motivation for him to go back on being hated. And I don't think it was just being hated. I think it's also being feared. Kate, that's the way Sawyer feels power. And he made a power move. And it worked. That's just, that's my opinion on it. So.
Yeah, I mean, I can see that. I just, I don't know. Looking at it just as, just watching the two of them, Jack and Sawyer, it's just all I see is this dick that's just, you already took all his stuff. You already divvied up all his stuff. Now the stuff that he does have since coming back, you're completely ransacking. I mean, he left a mess. It looked like a boar went through his tent.
Yeah.
And he just, I don't know. Jack is so unbelievably unlikable. And I just think he's reached this pinnacle in this episode where he is just, I don't find any positive redeeming qualities about him at all.
And you're absolutely right. I think a pinnacle is a good way to put where he's at. And it's just funny that the one person he respects the least, which is Sawyer, is the one person that by the end of this episode has put him in check.
Good.
And I think it's only rightfully so.
Yeah.
That's the way everything played out. I mean, there would have been nothing wrong with Jack coming back to Sawyer and saying, "Hey, I want the pills back," instead of just ransacking his tent. Mm-hmm. As Sawyer is swimming and still soaking wet as he's putting his pants back on.
Right.
That annoyed me. That I don't know why it did. You're on an island with the sun shining. Just dry off before you put your pants on, pal. Like that's, I don't know.
I'm okay with him being in his boxers.
Exactly. I figured you would be. But yeah, I think you're right. I think Jack is, I want to kind of, I'm not going against what you're saying. Jack is the worst, but I think I can kind of lump Locke into the same field this episode. Because, one of the things that we get in the beginning of the episode is we get the statues addressed in the very beginning with the heroine. Locke is very open with Jack about, that was Charlie's stash. I figured we could use it for healing purposes or whatever. And Jack says, are you going to keep it in the statues? And Locke, replies, do you want to break 7 Virgin Mary statues? Locke literally just told Jack, this is why I'm keeping this in here. I'm keeping this because you're a doctor. You could probably use this. But yet when Jack asks for the combination, you don't want to give it to him. Like, you're hesitant to give it to him. You just got done telling him you put medicine in the safe room, in the gun room. But you still don't want to give him the combination. That's Locke's power trip.
Well, maybe. I don't know. I wouldn't trust Jack either. And he had good reason not to trust Jack because Jack went behind Locke's back and violated their agreement and went to go get into the gun locker anyways. I
don't think, at this point in time, I don't think either one of them has a reason to trust each other. I don't think Jack has a reason to trust Locke, and I don't think Locke has a reason to trust Jack. But somehow...
I don't think Jack is trustworthy.
He's not.
I think Locke is.
It's weird. Like, when it comes to Locke, like, if I were on that island, when it comes to asking Locke a question, I would second guess his answers. But when it comes to trusting Locke with my life, I would absolutely do it.
Yeah, what did Charlie say in season 1? If I was to pair up with anybody, or Locke is like the only person I'm certain is who I want on my side.
Yeah.
If we get stranded in the jungle, something like that. Like it was just such a good sentence about Locke.
Yeah, I mean, Locke's the kind of person where like you second guess his motives and you kind of question his responses to questions, but when you're out there, you trust Locke with your life. It's a weird dichotomy. It's a weird like relationship to have with him because he has lied, but he knows what he's doing when it comes down to it in the end. So I think when it comes to like his lies and his not revealing of all information, I think that's reasons why Jack has reasons of trusting Locke, but when it comes to Locke trusting Jack, you're right. Jack is he's not a trustworthy person. He's going to do what he wants to do in the best interest of himself. So, what's something else?
What's your
Well, I kind of piggybacked on yours a little bit, but I loved just a couple quick things that I'll just mention real quick. I love the Scott and Steve confusion again that we got with Ana Lucia. Ana Lucia and Jack. I want to switch gears for a minute and talk about the whole Hurley and Sayid.
Okay, because that was one of my points.
Okay.
I wonder if it's the same thing. I wonder if it's. Oh, I'm sure it is. Go ahead. Say
well,
it.
I have two. I loved the lightheartedness in the beginning. With Hurley walking up, seeing Sayid breaking the coconuts, and saying, "Hey, gonna put the lime in the coconut and drink them both up." Like
I loved that.
He's trying to be there in his own way for Sayid. Like he knows Sayid is going through a hard time. Sayid has kind of isolated himself. This is Hurley being Hurley, and like in so many ways saying like, bro, I'm here for you if you need it. Even when it came down to showing Sayid the radio and leaving it there for Sayid, like that was such a heartwarming move to do that. That was Hurley's way of saying like. He didn't take the radio back with him and say, I'll find somebody else to help me. He left it there for Sayid after figuring Sayid to be MacGyver. And, knowing full well that would kind of bring Sayid back. And it worked. It totally worked.
Yeah, totally. Did you notice the foreshadowing at the end?
Well, yeah, I did. There's two things in there. There's the manuscript that he's reading, which is the manuscript of Bad Twin, which kind of goes into a little bit of, I guess you can kind of foresee as Jacob and the Man in Black, slightly, because I don't think they're twins, but I believe they are brothers. So they could be twins, just not identical twins. But at the same time, at the end when they are listening to the radio,
Yep. He says, and Sayid says, could be coming from anywhere. And Hurley says, or any time.
Yep. Dude, I'm just kidding. But it
was awesome.
When he said that was the moment in my mind that clicked when I was like, holy shit. I know we've been saying it for a while, but if there's ever been a moment on this show that solidifies it, the writers knew exactly what they were doing.
Right.
They knew what they were doing and where they were going with this show.
There's so much foreshadowing in this show. If you really analyze it and you break it down and you watch it just for that, it's hard to refute.
Yeah. And I think Carlton Cuse and Damon Lindelof confirmed that radio broadcast that they heard was indeed from the 1940s.
WXR radio. Yep.
So you read the same thing I did.
Yeah. No, I didn't read it. I didn't read anything.
Right. You're a wealth of lost knowledge, and I love it.
No, just on this episode, I didn't have time to read anything.
Oh, really?
Really and truly, I did not have time to read anything this episode. I caught it all on my own this week.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it's WXR was the radio station.
Yep.
Yeah, and it's funny, too, because one of the other things I read was the song that was playing was Moonlight Serenade by Glenn Miller. Glenn Miller is a musician who was never seen after his plane disappeared during bad weather. So that's
awesome.
Yeah. One of the other things I wanted to mention too, going back to the manuscript, Bad Twin. Bad Twin was the manuscript by Gary Trope, who was the guy that was sucked into the turbine in the pilot, and they actually created a book. I think the producers behind Lost actually created a Bad Twin story and published it.
Oh,
So
cool.
it is out there to read, and there are a lot of references to Lost type things in there. I know. What were some of the ones I read? Winmore family is in there. I think Hanso group is mentioned in the book. So, but yeah, it's a nice little piece of like Lost memorabilia if you can find it in bookstores.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, which I might do. I might do it, and maybe we'll use it as a giveaway. Like we'll give it away to one of our listeners, which would be
That's
cool.
fun. I like that idea.
Yeah, I'll have to see if I can find it. So yeah, I wanted to make sure that I brought up the whole Hurley and Saeed thing because we've made mention of it before that Hurley is used so often to bring levity to episodes, and this was just another fantastic use of that. And that moment at the end that you mentioned too, with any time, I almost cheered at that moment.
I actually backed it up. I backed it up. Did I hear that right?
Yeah. It's confirmation that these guys knew what they were doing. I don't care what anybody says.
Agree.
They knew what they were doing.
I agree.
So what's something else that you wanted to talk about?
So it's little, but I just wanted to say that with Sawyer having the guns and just how protective he is over his stuff, I feel like for the first time that the guns are actually safe on the island.
That's a good point.
Is that weird to say?
No, because there are only two people that know where they are.
Yeah, and Charlie will never admit that he was even a little bit a part of that. So that's good. And Sawyer's not going to give it up to anybody. So for the time being, the, pissing contest between Jack and Locke and the gun locker is on hold. And I think that, everybody can maybe calm down a little bit with their power trips and regroup. Jack's final stand with Locke was just so unhinged and disrespectful and just awful. Give me 2 guns right now. I mean, my goodness, what a dick. So it was just really funny because Sawyer comes out. He's like, "There's a new sheriff in town," and I thought to myself, the guns are kind of safe on the island right now.
Yeah.
I'd say he's not going to share. He's not a sharer.
I was almost waiting for Sawyer to come out and be like, "There's a snake in my boots."
I know. It was so corny, but I don't care.
With that little cowboy move that he came out there. But you know what? Like, he picked his moment perfectly.
Oh, yeah.
These guys were ready to come to blows with each other until he comes stepping out. So, I mean, that was the perfect moment to make that power move. And it worked. Like, I have so much more respect, and I'm so much more of a bigger fan of Sawyer this episode than I have been.
I love Sawyer so much. I can forgive him for a lot.
Yeah. I mean, the plan, it started with the attack on Sun, but the plan that Sawyer and Darth Charlius put together, because let's be real, he looks like a Sith Lord at the end of this episode in the dark with the hood.
It's like, what was it, Bad Spidey from Spider-Man 3?
Yes, yeah.
Emo Spidey.
Yeah,
he's in his emo Charlie phase.
Yep. I like my Darth Charlius, though.
Yeah, I like it too.
But, let's talk about that plan for a minute because, we talk about the title.
Long Con?
Yeah, the title of the episode is Long Con, and some of the brilliance in the writing of this episode is that they make you feel like the long con that they're talking about is the one that's in play in Sawyer's flashback.
Which can we just take a moment and say, yay, Kim Dickens?
Yeah, another Walking Dead alum coming, or Fear the Walking Dead alum.
It was nice to see her. Anyways, go on.
You're paying attention to this long con that's playing out in Sawyer's flashback, which is the more obvious one, and you're not really picking up on the hints of the one that's going on in the present in the present time on the island. It's written so well that they do make you believe that it really is Ana Lucia that's behind this. And as a viewer, you're starting to question Ana Lucia's motives. You don't see it until the end that Sawyer was the real mastermind behind the whole plan, with Charlie kind of acting in the shadows. We've talked before about how the previously on Lost is always a hint as to, and this is for any show, the previously on is always a hint as to what's going to be entailed in the episode that you're getting ready to watch. The first thing that you see is the whole Locke and Charlie interaction from last week, but then we don't see Charlie again for pretty much the entire episode. You tend to almost forget about that.
Mm-hmm.
But you're
right.
If you were paying careful enough attention and it stuck in your mind, you would probably be able to foreshadow that Charlie was a part of this plan. But they write the episode so well that by the time you see Jack, rummaging through Sawyer's tent, you forget that Charlie's even there.
Mm-hmm.
And it's so well written that way that I can't praise the writers enough for that.
And Sawyer saved Son, and it wasn't even Sawyer's idea to go to the hatch. It was Kate's idea to go to the hatch. And she said, you need to go to the hatch to Sawyer. And so, there was a lot of misdirection in this episode. And then, you see in the flashback kind of the whole thing unfolding there as well. And you're kind of left with a question in your mind on really how much of a long con was the one with Cassidy and Sawyer.
Well, I think they were together for about 6 months, he had mentioned.
Right. But what I'm saying is at the end, it didn't seem like anybody got the money except for Sawyer. Like his friend didn't get the money. I still don't know how that thing went down at the end. He stayed in the car with the suitcase of half the money, but then all of a sudden he had the duffel bag. Or did he transfer the suitcase into the duffel bag and he just let Cassidy have half the money, and then he didn't pay his con man friend, the guy from Veep? I don't know. And so did he screw that guy over, or did he screw both of them over?
That's a good question. I know we're going to see Cassidy again, especially more. She's going to interact with Kate quite a bit, a little bit.
Well, they were in Kate's town. I mean, we saw Kate's mom was the waitress, which was cool.
We saw Diane as the waitress in the diner. We do know that Kate and Cassidy do interact a little bit, because I think, if I'm correct, I think we see Cassidy actually running Sawyer's con with the jewelry. And Kate is actually the one that steps in with the money, realizing that it's a con, to help her out.
Yeah.
So they kind of swap roles a little bit. I can't remember if it's revealed at that time or not how it played out. I honestly can't remember. I don't remember if we find a resolution as to how it all happened or not. My question is, though, because we went at the beginning of the episode, we see Sawyer playing the typical con we've seen him play before, with the latch breaking on the suitcase, the money falling out.
Right.
Did he initially intend on, because find out he knew that she had the money, she had the $600,000. Was the initial plan to try and con her like normal, and then when she was onto it, he had to adapt? Or was she always a mark for a long con?
I don't know. Does he really think that was it really a long con, or was it a relationship? Because if it was a con the whole time, there wouldn't be framed pictures of the two of them in the house that they were in.
But that's part of the long con.
Is it though? Because then if she gets conned and there's photographic proof of him.
Oh, that's a good point. That's a really good point. I didn't even think about that. Yeah, there's evidence. There's evidence of that.
Maybe he really just wanted it to be real. And until that guy came to the diner to get the money, maybe he had to kind of sloppily plan out an end game where nobody was happy.
Well, I think there might be a little bit of genius, and I think there might be a little bit of elements of everything in this. In that, I think it probably was Sawyer's intention to con her with the short con, like he has in the past, and when it fell through, he had to adapt to that, and he had to turn it into a long con, which shows really how smart Sawyer really is.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah, you're right.
to be able to shift into that, to know in a second, okay, this didn't work, time for plan B. And like, he has a backup to everything that he does. And I think, along that same route, I think it was played out that it was going to become a long con. And I think there were genuine feelings that he developed. I think he kind of fell victim to his own long con.
And maybe that's also kind of indicative of him developing feelings on the island for other people. He has to remind himself of who he is in the end. He had feelings for Cassidy, and in the end, it was just a job, and he had to kind of realign himself and harden himself back up. And on the island, he came back from being shot, and he was well liked, and he was respected, and he was, things were going really well. But I think that, it made him soft, and maybe he had to remind himself that he had to be a certain kind of person in order for him to feel strong. Because a lot of what his cons are is that he preys on kind of the weaker minded. He preyed on all of the insecurities, the insecurities of whether or not they're safe from the others, with the group as a whole. And then you also have, Charlie's weakness in the fact that he's an outcast of the group, and that he is at war with Locke, just like Sawyer's at war with Jack. And then you have Kate, who is very insecure about kind of her position with Jack, with the introduction of Ana Lucia. And then, you have Sawyer probably feeling really insecure about his position on the island and what his role is now that he's back, and it seems that everybody kind of likes him, that he's probably uncomfortable with that. And then you have Locke, who doesn't trust Jack as far as he can throw him, and he can't even pick him up. So, you have Sawyer playing on all of these insecurities in order for him to kind of realign himself as the outcast, as the hardened guy, as what you said earlier, as the guy that everybody's kind of scared of.
Yeah.
Just like he took Cassidy and realized that Cassidy was insecure about, whether or not Sawyer was conning her. And then, he probably softened as the relationship bloomed. And then he had to remind himself that, he wasn't this guy. He was somebody else. What do you think about that? Am I crazy?
No, I don't think you're crazy at all. I think you're right. I think there is a lot of similarities between the way that long con ended with him and Cassidy in comparing to everything now. I think he's seeing a lot of reflection in, what we saw last week with Hurley saying like, hey, glad you're back, dude. And, and Kate saying, you're well liked, as you had mentioned. He's respected now. From, he went from the guy that everybody hated to the guy that was trying to get everybody saved. That adds, whether it worked or not, you're still going to get respect for that, because it means you're a stand-up guy. And
right.
Sawyer doesn't want to be seen as that kind of person. He feels like he is a different kind of person, so he's trying to revert back to that.
Maybe he feels like he doesn't deserve it.
Maybe. I think there's a part of that too, because he's cheated so many people in the past that he probably just doesn't feel like he doesn't deserve that respect. Mm-hmm. I think you're absolutely right. I think there are a lot of good comparisons, and, reflecting on everything that he's doing now with being respected and well liked on the island, he's going to find ways to, as Kate mentioned again, he wants everybody to hate him. And I think he's onto it. He made the right move in that.
Yeah.
But see, here's the confusing part about it too, is it's not just hate, it's being feared, as I mentioned too. But he's unknowingly, or maybe knowingly, I don't know, he's kind of stepping into a leadership role. He's taking over the camp. He holds all the cards.
Is it a Rick-tatorship?
It's a Rick, yeah. It's with the exception of the hatch, because he doesn't control the hatch, but the most valuable assets in the hatch, he has. He has the guns, he has the medicine. He's got all the power right now. So whether or not he admits it, he has stepped into a leadership role. Because he says it himself, if you want guns, you got to come to me.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if he was intending to do that or not, but that was inadvertently what has happened. So I don't know how you feel about that.
That's a good point. Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, I don't know that he wants to be the guy. That's for sure. I think that there's some truth to that. But, I have this written down. I'm really torn about this because Sawyer went about this all wrong, and he's such a dick about it. I mean, he used Charlie in a vulnerable spot, and he had Charlie attack the most universally liked person on the island.
Yeah.
So that it was, a bigger deal. Oh, it was Sun. I mean, if it was anybody else, people would be like, well, there's some problems. Sun, nobody doesn't like Sun. Like, nobody. It would be like attacking Rose.
Yeah, Sun hasn't had any issues with anybody, really.
So, it was a very well thought out plan, which means he's just diabolical, right? But Jack deserved every ounce of this loss.
Yeah.
And to a certain extent, so did Locke. Both of those men deserved to be brought down a peg or two. Jack deserved to be brought down about 8 pegs.
It's so funny because as you were saying that, those were the exact words that were coming to my head was the bringing down a peg.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, as much as I hate all of the methods and just the sheer sociopath quality of this plan, Jack and Locke kind of deserved it. So I'm really torn.
Now, here's a question I have that I just thought of as we were going through and breaking everything down. We know that Charlie was part of the plan in the attacking of Sun. He was the one that, like I said, was in the shadows. He followed Locke when Locke hid the guns. He took the guns. He moved the guns for Sawyer. They are the only 2 people on this island that know where those guns are. Mm-hmm. Do you think this was Sawyer using Charlie for his own benefit, or did he trust Charlie enough to do this plan and make him a partner in this?
No. I think that he just used Charlie because Charlie was weak and vulnerable, and he knew that he could use him. Any good con man knows where the weak spot is, and Charlie was the weak spot.
But now you have a weak member who knows where the guns are, unless Sawyer decides to move him again on his own.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, but don't forget that Charlie, said Sun can never know that I did this.
Yeah.
So that's what Sawyer has over Charlie.
I do, and I said last week that we kind of saw in everything that was happening with Charlie, and the situation that he was in, we saw the makings of a villain. What could potentially become a villain in any other situation. And thankfully, Charlie kind of reverts away from that as time goes on. But, it's kind of a dark and sinister moment, when we get that time at the end when Sawyer gives him back a statue and Charlie says, if I wanted it, I would have taken it when you asked me to move it. I just wanted to see Locke look like a fool. Like, that's a dark moment for Charlie. That's a seriously dark moment for Charlie.
Well, Charlie has never been able to take responsibility for anything that's ever happened to him. It's everybody else has done everything to make his situation the way that it is. It was Liam's fault that Charlie's piano got taken and he couldn't make music anymore. It was, it's always someone else's fault.
Yeah.
It's never his fault. It's Locke's fault that Charlie got kicked out of his little beach house with Claire and Aaron when it was all Charlie. Or it was Echo's fault for saying, the baptism needed to happen, but, not giving Charlie specifics. Who knows? I mean, an addict will say anything to make sure that they are always the victim. Always. Yeah. So, I don't have a lot of sympathy for Charlie right now.
Not at this particular moment. No, I don't either. I mean, like I said, when I heard Charlie say that, it's like, yeah, that's a dark moment for Charlie. And it's, I think we're at the point now, I think we're at one of the lowest points for Charlie.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Did you notice the hint that it wasn't an other that took Sun in the very beginning? Because Vincent showed up and he was very casual. If there was any sort of danger or threat, don't you think Vincent would have barked or ran off in a direction of danger?
I didn't even think about that.
But since he just kind of sauntered away, it told me, oh, well, somebody's around, but it's somebody that Vincent knows.
Yeah, I didn't.
Dogs are protective.
Yeah, I didn't even think about that. It's I love Vincent too, by the way, because Vincent is one of those characters that randomly pops up in the most random of times.
Yeah.
Like, he just seems to be everywhere at one time. And I love it. I love that he pops up that way.
He's camp dog.
He is. He's island dog.
He's island dog.
He's island dog. I love it. And, and he is one of the few characters that makes it to the end of this series.
Yeah.
Which I love.
I don't know how.
I don't either.
Labs usually don't last very long, and he already looks like he's about midlife, so okay.
Well, you know what, though? If you look at the whole time frame of the actual present day of the island, I don't think it's any longer than maybe a year or two. I mean, we do get the time travel element of everything, but that kind of puts the present day on hold.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe somebody out there knows what the actual timeline of events is.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, it would be interesting to know, because I know it would be just as interesting for you as I'm sure it would be for me, as to find out what date it is that they crash on the island, and when at the end of season 6, when Jack's eye closes, what the date is then, so that we can know like what the actual present day timeline of the island is.
Yeah, I don't know that we would ever get that answer.
I don't know. Yeah, it'd be interesting to find out. So I don't think it's any longer than like a year or two, but I could be totally off.
Right.
So, I think
I don't have anything else.
Yeah, I think I've kind of covered everything on my end too. I think the only note I don't have crossed off is just Skeevy Sawyer. Talking about like, now there's a sensitive man with Locke coming up to be with Claire. It's just a continuation of Skeevy Sawyer from last week.
Well, it's just Sawyer pointing out Charlie's insecurities.
Yeah. Well, no, I'm talking about. Oh yeah, you're right. Yeah. But yeah, I don't have anything else either. I think I've covered just about everything I have when it comes to this episode.
Me too.
I think. I'm actually really happy with this discussion because we weren't in complete agreement the whole time.
Yeah, I know.
We started off with a little bit of a debate, which I kind of enjoyed.
I always like that.
I do too. I mean, and I love the fact that neither one of us takes it personally, which is why we podcast together.
I don't take we're talking about a television show.
Exactly. I would, however, be very curious to see where our listeners stand when it comes to that debate. So I'm going to put this out there. We're going to tell you how you can leave us feedback and get in touch with us. But I'm very curious. To anybody, to everybody out there listening, where do you fall on when it comes to divvying up Sawyer's things? Do you think it was wrong, or do you think it was okay? And if people are on your side and nobody's on mine, I'm fine with that. I want to see where some of our listeners stand with that too.
Okay. Me too. I always do.
I'd be very curious. So if you want to leave us feedback or you want to let us know where you stand on that, there are multiple ways that you can do that. First and foremost, we are on Facebook at facebook.com/Lost Revisited.
We are on Instagram at Lost Revisited Pod.
You can send us an email at lostrevisited@gmail.com.
And if you'd like to leave a message, you can record yourself and send it to our email address.
Yep. So yeah. Very interested in hearing what people think about that. I might even make that a poll at some point too.
That would be fun,
just to see where people stand.
Yeah.
But we do have a little bit of little bit of feedback this week. Our buddy Steve, as always, has left us a voicemail
because he's the greatest.
I love when Steve leaves us voicemails. He always messages too. Because did you record yet? When are you recording? So I could leave my voicemail.
I know.
He always double checks.
He was just my guest host on our final episode of the rewatch for House Podcastica.
I can't wait to listen to it.
Yeah, it just came out last night.
Did it? Okay. I got a new phone, so I have to update my podcast app. I have to resubscribe to a bunch of them, which is probably why I didn't see it.
I totally deleted iTunes.
Well, I don't use iTunes for podcasting.
I use Castbox. I think, or Overcast is what I use.
Podcast Addict is what I use. So
now I have to check to see what it is that I actually use. Overcast.
Overcast.
It's Overcast. Yeah, I like it. Overcast is actually it's really easy to use.
So is Podcast Addict, but maybe I'll give Overcast a try too to see if it's any better. So, but yeah, so we have our voicemail.
This podcast is brought to you by Overcast and Podcast Addict.
Let's shift into Steve's feedback. So we'll go ahead and play that now.
Hello, Ben and Kristen. This is Steve, and got some notes on The Long Con. Only watched it once because it's a good episode. It's one that I remember quite a bit, but I forgot a few things as well. The banter between Sawyer and Kate at the beginning is really good, and thought it was interesting that Charlie, even though at the end he says that Locke was more focused on the guns, it still is a little surprising that he was able to follow Locke without being seen. And I wrote this down because I wanted to get this right. So Sawyer wanted to screw over Jack, Charlie wanted to screw over Locke, and Jin and Sun get caught in the middle. It just doesn't seem right to me, but that's the way it is. And it's interesting that no one even suspected that Sawyer wasn't acting alone. I mean, Kate kind of had an idea when she asked him, but she didn't follow it through. You'd think if she had followed through the progression of her thoughts of how did you do it, you were in the hatch, then she could have, followed that down to figuring out that Charlie was the only other one who's been ostracized from the group because he had already pitted Ana Lucia against. So it just is interesting that no one even thought of that. No one suspected it. And when did Locke learn Sawyer's real first name? I mean, I know Hurley knows his name is James Ford. I think Kate knows his real name. So maybe it's just to the point now where it's just common knowledge among them. But anyway, just a few quick thoughts. And this is one of those episodes that is really good, but it shows us the dark side of Sawyer that we haven't really seen. We've kind of seen the lovable, noble, honorable, vagrant side of him, but in this episode, we see the dirty, nasty villain that he can be. And as much as I love the relationship that he finally does have with Juliet at the end of the show, I do see that he and Kate, at this point anyway, would have been a better fit than Kate and Jack. Can't wait to hear what you guys thought. Talk to you later.
Yeah, Locke knew Sawyer's name from the manifest. He said that a couple episodes, actually, I believe. He reminded the audience about that by saying, oh, yeah, well, Hurley knew your name from the manifest or something like that.
Yeah, I think he says to him, like, where did you get Sawyer from?
That's what it was.
Yeah.
He's like, what?
It was either last week or the week before. I think we got that.
They were tracking someone.
I think they were tracking Michael.
Yep.
Yeah.
The hunting party.
Yep. Yeah. So Locke has known for a little while already that James was his name, because I think that's actually what he calls him now.
Yes.
He doesn't call him Sawyer anymore.
No.
So, Steve made a good point too about how nobody really cued on to the fact that Sawyer was not working alone. I mean, the only people who would even really know that he was not working alone would be Jack, Locke, and Kate. Because nobody else was in the hatch to know that Sawyer was in the hatch by himself when the guns went missing. The people on the inside would have to know, if they were smart enough to realize, that Sawyer was working with somebody else.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, I mean, that's why Sawyer was a pretty great con man.
Yeah. Sawyer is one of the smartest people on that island when it comes to street smarts.
Yeah, he is very street smart. Street smart is going to get you a lot further than being book smart on the island.
Yeah.
If you're book smart on the island, you're just an asshole.
Like Jack?
Jack.
What's the theme song?
Call him a jackhole.
No, what's our theme song? What's our jingle?
House?
No,
Yeah.
no, Jack is the worst.
Jack is the worst.
That's it. What was the other? Oh yeah, and Steve chimed in too about the whole chemistry between Jack and Kate and Sawyer and Kate, as well, as we talked about at the top of the podcast. And Steve was right on with us too. That it's Jack and or Kate and Sawyer were just better suited for each other.
Yeah, I agree.
They were just two street smart people.
And who wants to be with Jack anyways?
Not even his own wife.
Exactly.
Yeah, so thanks, Steve, for the feedback as always with that.
Thanks, Steve. He did a great job on House Podcast.
I can't wait to listen. I'm gonna have to download that today, a little bit later
Good.
today.
Do it.
With that said, though, obviously one of the other things that we want to encourage all of our listeners to do is check out all of the other great content, both on Next Level Podcast Network and Podcastica Network. We keep bringing up House Podcastica every week, but we have to because we are merely days away from
4 days
from the final season starting. So it is as important as ever right now, your podcast, House Podcastica.
It's actually really exciting. It finally, it's relevant. I've been doing this rewatch for so long, and now all of a sudden, it's relevant.
It's hashtag We Are Steve.
Hashtag We Are Steve.
We Are Steve. It's I'm getting so excited about it. It's so bittersweet because I'm excited. It's finally new episodes, but there's only 6 of them, and then it's done for good. And it's
I know.
It's so bittersweet. But like you, we talk about this every week. I have done so well. I only have 4 more days to go. I have not seen anything about this new season.
I know. I've got to tell you too. Somebody was on speakerphone the other day, and with my neighbor, and she's like, "Well, what did you think about the preview?" And I'm like, "I don't know." I start making. And she goes, "But all I wanted to know is," and I'm like, "I don't care. Shut up, no." I mean, I'm really I'm at the height of the annoying friend quality that people hate. I just run screaming from you if you start talking about it.
It's so much more difficult for you than it is for me because you talk about Game of Thrones almost on a daily basis.
Oh, actually, I at this point, I'm not even going 10 minutes without bringing it up.
Yeah, it's so much more difficult for you. I have so much respect for you being able to do it.
I had a listener email me this morning, and he wanted to go over a questionnaire quiz that he was making for his watch party this weekend, and that was really fun. He took me through all the questions, and then I took Ben through the questions, and it turns out they might be too hard for the casual observer.
I knew maybe 2 of the questions, and I didn't even. I knew the first. Well, no, I knew part of the first question you asked me.
Oh, that was just terrible. I may have to email him back and be like, well, okay, so I thought some of this common knowledge.
Well, but again, I am a just very casual watcher. I don't. Right. I mean, it's been going on 8 seasons, and there are still characters that I have seen over 100 times that I probably still would have trouble remembering their name. There's just so much content in that show that's the way it is.
Yeah, my brain's jammed with it too.
Yeah, and now I need to go back, and I have 4 days to get through season 7 again.
You can do it. Plus season 1, episode 2.
Yes, and the Battle of the
Bastards.
Battle of the Bastards. But I can't wait till it starts up. I can't wait to be back listening to House Podcast every week as you're talking about it with you and Jason and whoever your guest host is for the week. And
it'll be really fun. Yeah. Thanks for pumping us up. I appreciate it.
Yeah, it's of course. Why would I not? Content aside, it's a great podcast. I mean,
thank you.
There's no reason for me to not talk about it every week. So,
right.
But a number.
What have you got going on?
Well, Next Level, I want to keep talking about it because it is still relatively new. Another piece of the puzzle podcast with our friends Avelino, Christina, and Erica. And it's an autism awareness podcast, and now more prevalent than ever because it is Autism Awareness Month. So
yeah, and they're doing a lot of really great things with their podcast. I know that they're talking about, going out in public, how to deal with the diagnosis, what exactly is the spectrum. I mean, they're covering all of it. And I think that for 3 people who have never podcasted before, they're doing an excellent job.
yeah, I agree with that completely. And I'm just honored to make it a part of Next Level and just love that they're doing that every week. Obviously we have Thoughts With, which is our Keith Bowerman does his podcast. It's going from a weekly to a bi-weekly because he's in the middle of some stuff right now. The Short-Lived Show, which is basically a podcast that talks about shows that ended before their prime.
I love that idea.
Right now they're talking about Firefly, which is the pinnacle of shows getting canceled before their time.
I think that they should talk about My So-Called Life.
Oh, it's definitely one we could recommend to them as well.
Mm-hmm.
So, they're just going through and rewatching shows that were canceled before they got a chance to shine. And
have they done Freaks and Geeks yet?
They just started. So they're still in Firefly territory right now.
Okay.
So once they're done with Firefly, they're going to move on to another show.
Freaks and Geeks is a good one too.
So, but it's a lot of fun. It's hosted by Pat Johnston and his wife, and so they have a good rapport with each other, and they're a lot of fun to listen to too.
That's awesome.
Panels to Pixels with Steve Brown, who leaves us feedback every week, as well as our buddy Mark Kirkman, and just a ton of other podcasts, both on Next Level and Podcastica. So, thenextlevelnetwork.com, podcastica.com. Go to those 2 websites, check it out. You'll find something you'll like. I guarantee it.
Villar Morgulis.
What is that again?
Really?
I know. I'm only kidding.
I'm going to take your clipboard.
You're going to restrict my clipboard. I'm revoking your clipboard.
Revoking your clipboard.
Next week. I can't wait.
I know.
I'm so looking forward to this phase of Lost because we're finally getting the introduction to one of my favorite characters of this series.
And the show will never again be the same.
No, it won't. It takes such a shift at this point. Maybe not yet. The next couple episodes, he's still Henry Gale.
Doesn't matter.
But he is still Michael Emerson is just such a phenomenal actor when it comes to playing these type of characters. And
I'm gonna have a blink counter on him. I am.
It's gonna be a low counter.
Yeah, I'll be surprised if it's more than 20.
We're gonna get to the end of. We're gonna start talking about next week, and you're gonna be like, he only blinked 7 times.
Total.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
I'm gonna have a blink counter. I'm not kidding. I'm going to do it.
Yeah, but Michael Emerson and the introduction of Henry Gale, Ben is just one of my. Not just because we share the same name, he is just such a dynamic character, and I love it. So, I mean, a character, I know we're getting ahead of ourselves, but he is a character that was only supposed to be in 3 episodes and turned out to be such a critical part of the rest of the series because of it.
Yeah.
So I can't wait. And I'm still working on getting him on the podcast too. So now's such a good time for that to happen. So I hope it does.
Yeah, that would be fun.
But I think that's going to wrap it up for this week. So unless you have any final notes, anything you want to mention?
Nope. Dracarys, Valar Morghulis, winter is coming.
All right.
Fire and blood.
God, yeah. By the time people are hearing us again, Game of Thrones will have debuted or premiered. The season will have premiered.
Oh my gosh. That is exciting.
It is. By this time next week, we will have...
My voice totally changed right now.
That is exciting.
That is exciting. I got really excited.
But no better time to wrap up this week's podcast. Thank you, as always, for being listeners. Thank you for sending us feedback when you do, and all the comments that you do as well, participating in the polls, everything, every part of it. But until next time, we'll see you guys further on down that rabbit hole. Take care.
There's a new sheriff in town.
We have to go back, Kate. We have to go back!